All right, so give us the latest, your best guess, what they're sort of whispering behind the scenes on the injury front with the two most prominent guys looking for the return of Adam Eaton, and then, of course, the microfracture surgery for Daniel Murphy.
Well, with both of them, and this is something that Mike Rizzo has said throughout the entire offseason is, and I believe both players have said this too, opening day would be fantastic, and both of them still have their eyes set on opening day. But, opening day in the grand scheme of things and the two of them being ready for game number one, really not super important as long as they're, making good progress and coming along in their recovery. So you don't want to push a guy, make sure that he's there for game one, and then come game 7, he's back on the DL and out for, a month and a half. So our Nationals are really trying to slow down because he's a, go, go, go type of guy. He really wants to be back in there after missing so much time last year. But they're kind of putting the reins on him a little bit and making sure that he progresses slowly. And Daniel Murphy is, I think he fully understands how complex and significant his procedure was, the microfracture procedure. And he is kind of putting the reins on himself a little bit. So I think both guys are still very much targeting opening day. They expect that to be what happens with both Daniel Murphy and Adam Eaton. But again, I don't think they're going to push things and make sure that they're there by opening day and then risk some type of setback that could cost them legitimate time once the season starts.
And you don't have to push Murphy when you have Howie Kendrick because that's a luxury to have when you have Kendrick, who played really well for them last year. And he played 50 games or so and hit almost 300. So if he can sit in there for a few weeks or, whatever, a month until Murph's ready, then that's perfect for them. There aren't many guys that are as good at the backup position right there than Howie Kendrick.
And then you got Wilmer Defoe as well, who
right.
played really well in his first, full season as a big leaguer, and he looks absolutely jacked. So does Howie. They both look huge and ready to go. They've come a long way. And then you've got Brian Goodwin, who, if Adam Eaton needs a couple days off to begin the season as he works his way back, or they just kind of ease him into action. Brian Goodwin showed he can be one heck of a fourth outfielder.
Absolutely.
Last year.
Yep.
So the depth that this Nationals team does have really kind of reinforces that they can take things slowly with both Murphy and Eaton.
I'm glad you mentioned him. I was going to ask you about Goodwin. He had the injury late last year. You say he looks good. What are the prospects for him in terms of making the opening day roster? Do you think that's a possibility? And then talk about Robles. Talk about Goodwin and Robles because it is a position of depth, the outfield position this year with those two guys.
Yeah, it very much is, and that's why the Nationals got so many questions on not just Robles, not just Juan Soto, but other outfielders throughout the offseason when they were talking trades with various teams. This is a significant position of depth for this Nationals organization. I would say that Brian Goodwin has the leg up for the fourth outfielder spot just because he's experienced. He's shown he can handle really any position in the outfields whenever someone needs to take a day off. And the Nationals want Victor Robles playing every day, and that's not going to happen at the major league level unless there's an injury of some kind. So if Eaton's ready to go to begin the season, I think what you see is Victor Robles playing every day at AAA and Brian Goodwin slotted in as the fourth outfielder where he can help any of those guys, give them a breath on a given day. And you let Victor Robles figure it out. He came a long way last year, and Mike Rizzo still wants to see progression and development from him. He's still very young. So you put him out there at Syracuse, you let him continue to learn the ropes, and then whenever you need him, whether it's June, whether it's August, whether it's, the postseason like he was last year, you give him a shot, and we're going to watch this kid go.
One of the better stories of last year, I thought, was just the sort of, the return or whatever of Michael A. Taylor, right? The resurgence of him, and wow, this is what this kid can do. We all hoped he could do. Have we seen enough that we can now take a deep breath and say, okay, he's going to do this for us every year, or do we still need to see a little more?
Well, there were a few times prior to last year where Michael was given an opportunity and just didn't really capitalize on it the way that he would probably hope that he did. Last year came out in a big way, and it really was his coming out party, both within this Nationals club and around the league. People really took notice of what Michael did, and he's had that ability for so long. People knew what he was capable of. And I think, he feels very confident the year that he did last year, if not improve upon that. Now, will that happen? We'll have to see. The thing about a guy who explodes in one season the way that Michael did is you kind of do need to sit back and watch and see if he can put it up again. But the Nationals truly believe that last year was the Michael A. Taylor that they're going to get going forward, and that really has been there all along.